high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are.
Pokémon Next Generation, Fanfiction, Season 1, Episode 18, created by Marcus J. Anthony, narrated by Roach. Misty flew gracefully on her Togekiss, soaring over a forest, guiding it to a smooth landing in a small clearing. Misty tapped the chirping Togekiss on the back before returning it to its Pokeball. Misty looked around, scanning the dense trees as she recalled the meeting point. She could hear branches rustling, and she looked up to see a young woman swinging from vine to vine until she dived down to meet Misty, and the two embraced fondly. Both Unova and Kanto champions wore jumpsuits. However, Misty wore blue and Iris's were purple. The two then wondered where the rest of their group were. And just like that, there was more rustling, this time from the bushes, announcing the arrival of two more figures. Dawn and May, two of the top 3 coordinators of the world, emerged from the forest path, their faces lighting up at the sight of Misty and Iris. The 4 women exchanged greetings and started catching up. After a moment, Misty looked around, a concerned expression crossing her face.
We're still missing someone. Do you think she went ahead without us?
Misty asked. The group fell silent, their thoughts turning to their missing companion. Determined, they continued to trek through the forest, following the path until they came to a small, weathered shed. Standing in front of it was Serena, her face set with a look of determination.
I couldn't wait any longer. I have to find my fiancé,
Serena said, turning to face them. Misty, Iris, Dawn, and May approached Serena, their expressions softening with understanding.
We'll find him, together,
Dawn said. Serena nodded, her resolve firm. The group turned their attention to the shed, which seemed out of place in the dense forest.
This doesn't look like the old Team Rocket headquarters we were expecting,
Iris remarked. Dawn stepped closer, her eyes narrowing. She got a funny feeling about the place. She began to poke around the junk inside the shed, and soon Iris joined her. After a moment of searching, Iris found a small hidden button beneath a pile of old tools. With the press of the button, the floor of the shed shifted and revealed a secret staircase leading down into darkness.
This is it! We're one step closer to finding Ash,
May said. The hidden staircase led the women into the depths of an eerie underground headquarters. The air grew colder as they descended, the dim light from above fading until they reached the bottom and found themselves in near darkness. Serena flicked on a flashlight, its beam slicing through the gloom, revealing long-forgotten hallways lined with cracked tiles and walls covered in peeling paint. As they ventured further, they passed through what appeared to have once been laboratories. In one of the rooms, they stumbled upon their first grisly discovery. The skeletal remains of a scientist lay slumped against a wall, still clad in a tattered lab coat. The sight froze them in their tracks. A collective gasp escaped their lips. Without speaking, they pressed on, their determination outweighing their fear. The corridors grew darker and narrower, each step taking them deeper into the heart of the abandoned lair. Suddenly, a chilling howl echoed through the halls, sending shivers down their spines. Ghost Pokémon began to materialize, their eerie forms drifting through the air. Haunter, Dusclops, and Miss Magius floated around them, drawn to the death that lingered in these halls. Misty, with a swift motion, released Blastoise. A torrent of water from Blastoise's Hydro Pump blasted one of the Haunters, sending it reeling. Dawn followed suit, commanding Piplup to unleash a barrage of bubbles with Bubble Beam, pushing back the ghostly figures. May's Blaziken roared, spewing flames that illuminated the darkness and scattered the ghost Pokémon. Iris directed her Haxorus, whose claws slashed through the ethereal forms with deadly precision. Serena's Delphox stood firm, eyes glowing as it unleashed a wave of psychic energy that disoriented their spectral adversaries. The women and their Pokémon fought with relentless determination, driving back the spectral horde. As the last of the ghost Pokémon faded away, they took a moment to catch their breath, their hearts pounding in their chests. The corridors became a labyrinth of decay and darkness. Every turn revealed more skeletal remains, the scientists who had met untimely ends. The group stepped cautiously into the main lab, the heavy atmosphere weighing on them. The room was littered with more skeletal remains, scientists who had perished under mysterious and grim circumstances. A shattered lab tank dominated one corner of the room, green liquid still staining the floor as if the accident had just happened. The presence of fresh-looking liquid, compared with the skeletons, suggested that this substance had properties that sped up the decaying process. The unsettling silence was broken by a sudden flickering of the lights and machines, casting erratic shadows across the room. An evil voice echoed through the lab, its tone filled with malice.
I foresaw your coming, and you will never find him.
A figure materialized from the darkness, its appearance sending chills down their spines. It looked like an armored MewZ, but larger, with a long dragon-like tail and an aura of pure malevolence. Most of its form was hidden beneath the menacing armor, only adding to its terrifying presence. Without hesitation, the women called for their Pokemon. Blastoise, Piplup, Blaziken, Haxorus, and Delphox took their places, ready to defend their trainers. But the armored creature proved too powerful. Its psychic blasts and physical strength overwhelmed their Pokemon, forcing the women to return them to their Pokeballs. Panic surged through Serena as she realized they stood no chance against this foe.
We have to escape!
She yelled. Desperation and fear echoed in her voice. She threw a Pokeball, and out came Charizard. Misty recognized it immediately as Ash's. Following Serena's lead, the other woman called out their flying types. Misty and Dawn summoned their Togekiss. Iris called upon her Dragonite, and May released Altaria. Charizard roared, and with a command from Serena, it unleashed a thick smoke screen, blinding the armored Pokemon. Taking advantage of the confusion, the group's Pokemon combined their efforts. Charizard, the Togekiss duo, Dragonite, and Altaria focused their strongest attacks on the ceiling, blasting a hole through it and creating an escape route to the surface. With the way clear, the women soared through the hole, their Pokemon carrying them swiftly upward. As they ascended into the sky, a monstrous roar echoed from below, followed by a massive explosion. They glanced back in horror as the entire forest below was obliterated in a giant blast. They had escaped just in time. High above the devastation, Serena's resolve finally broke. She started sobbing, tears streaming down her face as the reality of their narrow escape and the uncertainty of Ash's fate overwhelmed her.
If that thing has Ash and Pikachu, I fear I'll never see them again.
Misty, Iris, Dawn, and May gathered around her, their expressions a mix of sadness and determination. They shared her pain, but also her unyielding hope. As they flew away from the ruins of the underground lair, their bond grew stronger, united by their shared mission to find Ash and face whatever dangers that lay ahead.